So I want to start with the very first sentence of this song. I hope you never lose that sense of wonder. I just want you to sit with that for a minute. How are you when it comes to your sense of wonder? Are you in your life in such a way that there is still wonder in your life? You know, you can get to a certain point in your life and maybe things don't feel as wonderful as they did. And there's also full of wonder, you know, and we're all different ages in this room, and I think it can change depending. I look at my children, and they're filled with wonder. They're just about to step out into the world on their own, and they are filled with the wonder of what's going on in their life. And I think about myself when I was in that position, and the wonder I had about the world. So what gives you your sense of wonder? For me, it was, when I was a boy, for me it was dance. It was the dance. It was being a dancer. And I grew up in Philadelphia without dance, really. My father was a cop, and my father's brothers were cops or firemen. And you know, the idea of a dancer as one of their sons was not really on their hit list of favorite things for me to be. And so every time I would ask, I want to go take dance classes, it was like, no, you don't. Everyone will laugh at you. You'll be a sissy, and we're not taking dance classes. There are already signs. We're not giving them any more. So I didn't. But when Angela Lansbury came through town with Gypsy, I went and saw it anyway at the Forest Theater in Philadelphia, way up in the balcony. And I remember when that boy came out on stage and started doing the, got my tweed press, and I was like, he was like a pea on the stage from how high I was in the Forest Theater. And I'm way up there looking at him going, oh my God, that's it. That's me. That is me. That's me. And then when Angela Lansbury at the end is doing the Rose's turn, she's like, this is for me. For me. I'm like, yes. For me, Rose. For me. So I knew where my wonder was. That was it. I wondered what it would be like to go to New York and dance and just dance. And I did go to New York. And I literally snuck to New York the first time. I left my house early in the morning on a Saturday, took the Trenton local to Trenton, got on the Trenton train to New York City, and figured I could still get home and my parents would think I'd just been out for the day, hanging out with friends. And so I did. And I went all the way to New York City and took my very first dance class. And I haven't shared this story ever. And they're not here anymore, so now they know. So when I got to New York, I'd been told there was this great dance teacher, and I should go study with him. And I'd taken some dance classes by that point. You know, I was in college. I'd taken some dance classes. And there was a man, his name was Byron Mitchell. And he was a famous ballet dancer at the time, and he taught a dance class. So I went in, and the first thing I noticed was that I didn't have the clothes they all had. I had like sweatpants and like sneakers. And I mean, this is New York. They're in tights with little things, and the shoes and the tight shirts, and all looking like ballet dancers. And I kind of just went in, but I didn't stop. It didn't stop me. I didn't go, oh my God, I shouldn't do this. I just went in and stood there and started dancing. And after the class, Byron Mitchell came up to me. I'm sure he was like, who is this kid? And came up to me and he said, you need to get in class with me. He said, and I'm willing to teach you privately. And he literally took me and taught me for like a year. At Carnegie Hall, I'd have my private classes with him. And I was on my way to literally becoming a ballet dancer. And he was certain, and I was at the Joffrey at that time too. I went and I started getting into their classes, and I was in their lower class of members. And so I'm dancing until I went to see the workshop of A Chorus Line. The workshop at the New York Shakespeare Festival. At the workshop where Cassie was still being cut, for those of you that know the story. So the workshop, and I was like, oh my God, it's not ballet, it's musical theater, which I knew it was in my heart. And so I had all this wonder. When you are a 19-year-old, 20-year-old boy in New York City, and the world is your oyster, and every class you walk into, every show you walk into, every person you meet, it's a wonder. The world is just so amazing. And you all have your own stories. about what that was for you at that time. As I was putting this talk together, my daughter texted me from backstage at Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder on Broadway, which won the Tony Award this year, because she went to New York for a couple days with her mother to see some Broadway shows. And so I called a friend of mine who was in the show, and I said, can Nora come backstage and see? And so she was like, oh my God, yes. So Nora is backstage at the biggest hit on Broadway right now, texting me all her wonder. And it's like, and I'm sitting at my computer just like crying, just thinking, oh my God, I remember what it was like going backstage for the first time and seeing the other side. And I remember what it was like when 10, 15 years later, that boy I saw dancing in Gypsy was standing next to me at the Majestic Theater. One of us was going to get to play the lead in 42nd Street. And I was like, that moment was like, for me, it was like, wow, talk about coming full circle. Part of me was like, oh my God, they've got to give it to him. He's so incredible. But most of me was, no, it's me. He had his chance. It was at the Forest Theater. Here I am. It's me. And I did get it. And I remember her saying thank you to him and then asking me, can I start tomorrow? And I was like, and if you could just imagine, the Majestic Theater is huge. And I'm just standing there looking out, just going, wow. And then somewhere during that tour of 42nd Street, I lost the wonder. Somewhere during that tour, I lost the wonder. I remember we were in Detroit. I think what a good place to lose your wonder. But I was in Detroit, and I remember being on that dime, dancing my butt off, and literally thinking of everything, anything but that I was on that dime. And remember when the number was over, and I'm standing there going, what did I just do? Yeah. What just happened? They're screaming, and I look down, I see my costume, so I know where I am now. But the wonder is innate inside of us. And when we find it, when we tap into it, sometimes it can kind of dissipate. But you know what our job is? Where's the next wonder? Now what? Now what? Now what? It's like Alex said, you can keep your nose down once whatever you've gotten yourself into, but it's always about the unlimited potential. Now what? Now where's the wonder? So the lyric in the song, when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. It's all about choice. That's what makes us who we are. We are at choice. If there's one of you sitting in this room today who thinks that somehow you are not at choice in what your life is doing right now, you are wrong. And I have no hesitation to tell you, you are wrong. You are a choice. I don't care what is going on. I don't care if you've been given a diagnosis that you are dead in a week. You are a choice. Do you all know that? Yes. I don't care if you are on the verge of absolute, complete obliteration financially. You are a choice. And the minute you get that, the minute you decide to get that, your life will expand. But to the degree that you stay not at choice, your life is diminished and continues to get diminished more and more as you stay in a place of thinking you're not at choice. Ernest Holmes says, we can live a choiceless life. No, sorry. He says, we cannot live a choiceless life. Every day, every moment, every second, there is a choice. But what we can do, we can live a delusion that we have no choice. I want you to think of some of the choices today. Just some of the choices you made just today. Okay, you first made a choice to wake up. You made a choice to get up and get out of bed, yes? Did you all get up and get out of bed? Yes. Everybody made that choice today. We all made it. Did you all get up and decide what you were going to eat? Yeah. If you didn't, you made a choice not to eat. But you made a choice, okay? Did you decide what to wear? Some of you didn't put a lot of thought into it, but did you decide what to wear? Wow, how quickly they turn. No, we all decided what to wear, right? Now, I was standing in front of my closet going, unbelievable. The choices are so limited. Why are the choices limited? Because I chose not to pick up my dry cleaning. Literally, where all my shirts were. So, except for this one apparently, right? So we're at choice at all times. We are always at choice. Did you decide to come here? Yes, you chose to come here. Did you decide which seat you were going to sit in? Yes, you did. And I don't want to hear that I didn't, because I would have rather sat there, but it was already taken. You chose to get here at the time you got here, right? So, did you decide, are you choosing to stay in this room? Yes. For the moment? Yes, good. Are you choosing whether or not to sing when we all sing? Yes. Are you choosing whether or not to dance when we all dance? Yes. Are you choosing right now whether or not to listen to me or just phase out? Yes, yes you are. You totally are. You are a choice. So, the question is, what makes us choose? What makes you make the choices you make? What do you think that answer is? Beliefs. That's it. You choose what you choose. You make, good answer, Karen. You make the choices you make based on the beliefs you have. And your beliefs are the things keeping you limited. If you have beliefs that your life is difficult, you will make choices based on that belief. If you have a belief that the world is an unsafe place, you will make choices on that belief, and you won't do a lot of things. If you have a belief that you are weak or that you're a victim, you'll make a lot of choices, and you will choose to bring every perpetrator forward if you decide and choose that you're a victim. These are the choices we make based on the beliefs we have. Your beliefs are like a playlist of songs running in your head. And here's the other thing. Every belief has a rhythm to it. If I have a belief that the world is my opportunity, it is filled with opportunity, what do you think my rhythm's going to be like? Cool. Cool. Right, exactly. If I have a belief that it's a really difficult, struggling world to be in, you know, it's a tough town. This is a tough town, LA, right, Richard? For actors, a tough town. There are no jobs at my age. It's really hard. What's my rhythm going to be? Oh. It's a really, old man river. And there's my rhythm. Beliefs have rhythms. Belief has that. When I say the rhythm of life, I mean the rhythm of your life based on all the beliefs you have going on in your mind. All of the core beliefs you have developed. So, I'm directing Scary Musical, which will open here in September, and we just had a full day of sitting at a table and doing a table read, and it was very interesting with the actors, because as they're telling me about their characters, I'm giving them suggestions. Well, actually, I think your character may believe this. And as soon as I change what they think the character believes, it opens up a myriad of behavior. Oh, well, then I would never do that. If I believe this, I would never do that. If I believe this, oh, then my character would do this. That's how clear it is that your beliefs are running the show. If you have a belief that doesn't work for you, find another rhythm. And you know what they are. As Alex said, Monday and Wednesday, not enough. That's why Ernest Holmes says, do it at least every day. At least once every day. That means at least once every day. Get clear with what you're thinking. Know what you're thinking. Pay attention to what you're thinking. How many of you were at the Diana Nyad show this week? Yeah, I don't think a lot of our congregation came, which we were completely sold out. We had over 130 people for each show, and it was really amazing trying to get everybody in here, but we did. Diana Nyad, for those of you who don't know, she is the woman who made history by swimming from Cuba to Florida. After about 10 tries, and 5 tries, in those 5 years, but in all the years of her life trying. And she told this great story about her philosophy. I'm going to wrap it up I'm going to give it to you quickly. She talks about a fingernail. The philosophy of the fingernail. When she was challenged at the Olympic trials as a swimmer, a friend of hers, one of the other swimmers, said to her, "Wait a minute, take a look at the little fingernail, little moon-shaped fingernail on your hand. The person who's going to win, the person who's going to come in second, third, fourth, fifth, every single one of them, they're going to get into that place by no much more than a fingernail. That's what's going to determine it." And so she said to her, "I want you to go into that pool, and I want you to swim in such a way that you know that when you hit that fingernail on the back of that pool, when you are done, you have given it everything you could have possibly given it. You could not have swum faster." And she says, "I could not have swum faster at all." And so she does the swim. And she touches the fingernail, and she closes her eyes, and she says, and before she looks down, she goes, "I could not have done it faster." And she goes, "No matter what happens, I could not have done it faster." And she looks up, 6th place. And the first 3 went on to the Olympics, so she didn't go on to the Olympics. And then she said she was going to live the rest of her life. But she said, I felt fine, because I couldn't have done it faster. I couldn't have done it a fingernail faster. And she said, I will live the rest of my life from that perspective, that I will always, always live the fingernail philosophy. And it was brilliant. And I was just crying, both performances. It was just so brilliant. And here's what happened. And this is why it's so perfect for this. Her life continued. And there was like 30 years where she was doing great. Speaker, she was a anchor on a news show. She had a brilliant career. And then when she turned 60, she was with Christopher Reeves, and Christopher Reeves said to her, what happened to that fingernail philosophy? And he asked her that as she was turning 60. Of course, it did pass my mind. I'm about to turn 60. So I had this I was like, oh my God. I told her too, I said, oh my God, you said 60. And she went, oh, please. So she's a very powerful woman. And he said, what happened to that fingernail philosophy? Are you still willing to live by that? And she was like, in the show, she told Christopher, I'll get back to you. And then he passed away very shortly after that. So when she turned 60, she said, my passion, my wonder was to swim from Cuba to Florida. Here she is now at 60, and she failed the other times she did it. But at 60, she said, that was my wonder. And at 60, she said, it's still my wonder. I'm still the little girl standing on the shore of Florida looking to Cuba that I can't even see and saying, I'm going to swim there. And so, she did it. Again, and failed, and again, and failed, and again. And then that last time, the 5th time she did it, at 65. She did it at 65. Age had no bearing on this. It's the wonder. It's the wonder. So I'm here today to talk to you about the wonder. All the beliefs we have that get in the way of the music of our life. All the beliefs that have their own rhythms, and they're not rhythms we want to dance to. We get to choose our rhythms. We get to decide, am I or not? Am I or am I not equal to what I wish to be equal to? And I know there are many different levels of age in this room today. There are people just starting their careers in college. There are high school students. There are people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. We have a brilliant gentleman sitting right in front of me who just this week turned 94. And I have to tell you, I see wonder in this man's eyes. Whenever he looks at me and talks to me, he always breaks me down. You always break me down. Because he's always still involved. He has wonder about everything. So it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, there is wonder. And what do I mean by wonder? I mean beauty. I mean beauty. I mean possibility. I mean pure potentiality. I mean love. I mean passion. How many of you have passion in your life? How many of you want more passion in your life? How many of you are willing to live the passion of your life? And it doesn't matter what anyone else says, to just live it. Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where Elaine's out on the floor dancing? And everybody laughs because she's so bad? You know what I love about that episode? She's so bad and she just doesn't care. How many people do you think stop because they don't think they look good? Or they don't think they're going to succeed? Or, this is one of the biggies that stops us from dancing, they don't think they'll do it perfectly. It stops many, many of people. And I know I've told the story many times about West Side Story on opening night, and I was scared to death of those damn knee turns, and that I was going to fall off of them in front of the whole theater world, all the critics, and Lauren Bacall in the third row. And I was thinking, God, those knee turns. And finally, I tripped before it. Before the knee spin, I tripped. I was like, wow, I'm going to do the knee turns. Screw it, I already tripped. Those were the best knee turns I ever did. Literally, because I'd already tripped. You know what? Every single one of us in this room have already tripped, haven't you? Yes. Who cares now? And it's in the song. Who cares about the mistakes? We already made them. And I'll probably make some more. But in the long run, my life is unfolding perfectly. What mistakes? There are no mistakes. There's just the journey. So, Diana Nyad made history. That's what they say about this woman. She made history. What is history, though? In the dictionary, it says the study of past events. Guess what? We're all making history. We are all making our own history. But are we making the history that we want to make? Are we making the history that we want to make based on the truth of who we really are? So this month is the rhythm of life. Every single one of us, we have an opportunity this month to find our personal rhythm. Really find it, and really live it, and really dance it. The title of my talk today is Just Dance. Sometimes you find your rhythm by just dancing. Did you ever just dance? Did you ever just dance? My kids say that they feel like they live with Dick Van Dyke. They didn't say Dick Van Dyke, Tommy Tune. Now, who did they say? Some dancer. Anyway, they do, because I will just start dancing. I will just start dancing. And it's like, what are you listening to, James? The rhythm in my head, the rhythm of my life. I just dance. Even yesterday, Kevin was like, what are you doing? I was sitting in the chair and I was doing this, and he was like, he grabbed my legs, he went, what are you doing? And he thought I was getting nervous about something. I said, I'm not nervous, I'm listening. But there was no music on, right? So it's either you're losing it completely. No, I'm tapped in. There is an energy. There is a divine energy. There's a divine rhythm. There's divine music around us at all times. There is a vibration, the sympathetic vibration of the drum. I'm the drum. And there are energies that come along, and they vibrate at such a high level of spiritual divineness that I can't help but dance. And there are other energies that come along, and they are vibrating at a level that I don't want to go to anymore. I do not want to go to certain levels and certain rhythms. And when I hear those, when I experience those, when they come my way, I do my best to be spiritually on principle. God is everywhere, present at all times, and then I choose which vibration of God I wish to dance to. That's who we are. That's who we get to be. And it's all about choice. So, when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you'll dance. And I hope that you will dance based on your rhythm, not on any rhythm that is out there, not on any rhythm that feels like it's so loud. Anybody have really loud rhythms? Loud rhythms that you feel you have to dance to. Wrong. My wish and my knowing for you today is that you get in touch with, you tap into the rhythm of life with a capital L, so powerfully, so strongly, so without any regret. You just tap into this rhythm, and you allow that rhythm to take you on the dance of a lifetime. So when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, know that there is something that never sits it out. It's called God. It's called you, and it is always dancing perfectly to the rhythm of success, prosperity, health, creative expression, loving, fulfilling relationships, always right there, just ready for you to turn it on and then dance to it. Namaste.